असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Now we will do the chant.
जाति नीति
कुल गोत्र दूरगम नाम रूप गुण दोष वर्जितम देश काल विषयातिवर्ति यद् ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि यत्परं सकलभागगोचरं गोचरं विमलबोधचक्षुषः शुद्धचिद्घनमनादिवस्तु यत् ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि षड्भिरोर्मिभिरयोगि योगिहृद् भावितं न करणैर्विभावितं बुद्ध्यवेद्यमनवद्यमस्ति यद् ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि अन्तिकल्पितजगत्कलाश्रयम् स्वाश्रयं च सदसद्विलक्षणम् निष्कलं निरुपमानवद्धियत् ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि वृद्धिपरिणत्यपक्षया व्याधिनाशनविहीनमव्ययम् विश्वसृष्ट्यवविघातकारणम् ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि अस्तभेदमनपास्तलक्षणम् निस्तरङ्गजलराशि निश्चलम् नित्यमुक्तमविभक्तमूर्ति यद् ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि एकमेव सदनेककारणम् कारणान्तरनिरास्य कारणम् कार्यकारणविलक्षणं स्वयं ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि निर्विकल्पकमनल्पमक्षरम् यक्षराक्षरविलक्षणं परम् नित्यमव्ययसुखं निरञ्जनम् ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि यद्विभाति सदनेकधा भ्रमा नामरूपगुणविक्रियात्मना हेमवत्स्वयमविक्रियं सदा ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि यच्चकास्ति अनुपरं परात्परम् प्रत्यगेकरसमात्मलक्षणम् सत्यचित्सुखमनन्तमव्ययम् Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani.
Brahmatatvamasi bhavayatmani.
So how grand this view of our nature, of human nature. Can you hear me at the back? Is this clear? Yeah. Verse number 257, I was talking about that. What? It's not, you can't hear it? It's not on? Let's see if you can hear me at the back, right?
You're loud enough.
Maybe I'm speaking loudly, that's why. This one is off. Now can you hear me? No? No. Maybe something's gone wrong with it. But you can hear me otherwise. Yes. All right. We'll see. So verse number 257, we were doing this. Bhranti kalpita jagat kalashrayam swashrayam cha sadasad vilakshanam. We are done up to this. This world which seems to exist by itself, this is a product of our ignorance. It does not exist by itself. What exists is Brahman, and it appears in this way. Not that this is being denied. After enlightenment also you will see this. It's like the blue sky. The sky is not blue, but it looks blue. And once you realize it's not blue, you look up there, it still looks blue. Similarly, you realize this is Brahman, it will still look like the world. That is enlightenment. So the enlightened one and the unenlightened one, physically they see the same thing. But the world view, the paradigm, the understanding is utterly different about what all this is and what I am. And the whole world is ashraya, the ground of the world is Brahman, or in that Buddhist thing, the primordial ground of being. A beautiful sentence. This like a magical display on the primordial ground of being. If you know the primordial ground of being, if you do not know the primordial ground of being, if we do not know in ignorance of the primordial ground of being, that magical display will appear as samsara. In the knowledge of the primary ground of being, the primordial ground of being, in the knowledge of that, that same magical display will appear as nirvana. And this primordial ground of being, this Sat, pure being, this Chit, pure consciousness, this Brahman, Atman, what is it based on? What is the foundation of that? Swashrayam, it has no further foundation. It is the foundation of all, and it's its own foundation, Swashrayam. What exactly are we talking about? These things? No, he's making it clear. Not these physical things. We're not talking about physical things. We're not even talking about subtle things. Sadasad vilakshanam. Apart from the things which are manifest to the senses. What is manifest to the senses? The colors and shapes which we see, the sounds which we hear, the touch, what we touch, what we smell, what we taste. These are manifest to the senses. Brahman is other than this. And which is not manifest to the senses. The more subtle things, the ideas, the thoughts, the memories, the conceptions in our mind, the subtle part of it. Brahman is other than that also. Brahman is not physical, nor is it something psychic or mental. It is other than that. But the physical and the psychic are not other than Brahman. Then Nishkalam. Brahman has no parts. Here it means what is technically called Swagata Bheda Rahita. Brahman internally is not differentiated. What is Brahman? It is one homogeneous existence consciousness bliss. It does not have parts. This is actually technically a negation of Vishishtadvaita. According to Vishishtadvaita Vedanta, this entire universe, yes, it is Brahman, but we are all parts of Brahman. In Sanskrit, Chid, Achit, Vishishta Brahman. Brahma qualified by its conscious and non-conscious parts. All these physical things, these objects, they are the non-conscious, insentient parts of Brahman. And we sentient beings, we are sentient parts of Brahman. What is Brahman? The totality of it all. Vedanta says, no, it's not like that. It's not like all the pictures you see on the screen. If you take the totality of all the pictures on the screen, that is the screen. No. The screen is, the pictures are not. If you ask what's the screen, And if someone answers, well, the screen, it has many parts. One part of the screen is Luke Skywalker, the other part of the screen is the spaceship, the other part of the screen is Darth Vader. No, those are pictures. They are not parts of the screen. They can disappear and the whole screen would still remain. Mary Hale, she wrote a poem to Vivekananda where she said, I have understood what you have taught. You have taught that all is God. Vivekananda wrote back again in poetry, in verse. He says, I have never taught such strange doctrine that all is God. And she said, this is exactly what you said. I said, no. Vivekananda said, no. What I meant was, only God is, the world is not. Only God is, all is not. It's not that all the characters in Star Wars and the spaceships and the stars and planets, put it together and you will get the movie screen. Not at all. Whether they are there or whether they are all removed, the movie screen is there regardless. The characters are not, the movie screen is. The all is not, God alone is. That's the Vedantic idea. It's not that someone saw the rope as a snake, someone saw it as a classical example, someone saw it as a crack on earth, someone saw it as a thought that it was a garland discarded from the temple. You can imagine in a half-dark, semi-darkness, there's something there, looks like a snake. Somebody says, no, it's not a snake, it's a crack on the ground. Somebody said, no, it's a garland discarded from the temple. What was it all along? The rope. Now if somebody says, well, these are all parts of the rope. The rope has a snake and a crack on the ground and a garland. Put them together, you'll get the rope. No, they are not. The rope is. This is Advaita Vedanta. Vishishtadvaita says, no. It's a totality, a combination of all things. We are all parts of God. But this is a text of Advaita Vedanta. It denies that. It says, Nishkalam, partless. It is just limitless consciousness, limitless existence. That's what you are. Nirupaman vadhiyat, which has no metaphor, no example can explain it. So all the examples we use, clay and pot, gold and ornament, water and wave, snake, rope, whatever examples and metaphors we use, the chariot example, whatever we use, they're all only partially successful. Brahman has no comparison. Therefore, no metaphor is sufficient to express Brahman. Such a Brahman, Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Meditate that you are this. Then verse number 258. Janma vriddhi parinatya pakshaya vyadhinashanam vihinam abhyayam vishwasrishti avavigata karanam Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. That which is free from birth, growth, development, waste, disease and death, which is indestructible, which is the cause of the projection of maintenance and dissolution of the universe, that Brahman art thou. Meditate on this in thy mind. Here what is being done? Look at the microcosm and the macrocosm. What is the microcosm? You. The body. Macrocosm, this universe. How is Brahman related to the... Brahman is not like the body. The body is subject to the well-known sixfold changes. What are the sixfold changes? Birth, jayate. And having been born, you come into existence as a separate individual. So asti, you come into existence. Vardhate, one develops, baby, child, teenager. Then viparinamate, one matures. Then apakshiyate, what happens then? Nothing good. Young people don't know this. They think it's going to be like this. No, it's not going to be like that. You hit 40, that's it, your life is over. You just don't know it. Afterwards, it's all the way down. You can manage it. You can manage the crash, but if you don't manage it, it'll be bad. If you manage it, it'll be tolerable. So that is called apakshiyate, deterioration. And then vinashyate, destruction. That's the body. Sankaracarya phrases it a little differently. He says, janma, birth, vriddhi, development, parinati, maturation, apakshaya, aging or deterioration. And then he adds vyadhi, important thing, disease, which is not there in the part of the usual sixfold changes, but it's important. Disease, and then death, so nashana. So these are the characteristics of the body, but Brahman is free from all of that. And the good news is, you are Brahman, not the body. This is what Vedanta tells you. The first big good news, you are not the body. And even better news, you are not even the mind. I don't want to be bodiless and mindless. But you are not bodiless and mindless. There is the body, there is the mind. Knock yourself out, use it as long as you want, but you are free of it. Remember, this is the chariot, the Uber which you are riding. I went to San Francisco recently and our Swami in Sacramento, Swami Isha Dhyanananda, Swami Maharaj, he said, I'll take you on this driverless car ride, Waymo. So he called it up and we went inside and he asked me to sit in the front. So I had a good view of it. It was a very, very nice a short ride in San Francisco. And then we got down and the car went on its own way. Then he said, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write a poem about two monks who went on a ride in a driverless car. And it composed such a beautiful poem. I can read it to you, it's in my phone, I still have it. It's so beautiful, the poem. I said, what an age we live in. A taxi without a driver and a poem without a poet. The vehicle is like that. This body is like that. So, this body is subject to sixfold changes, but Brahman is not. Brahman is existence, consciousness, bliss, and the good news is that you are Brahman. And this Brahman is the ground of the creation, preservation, maintenance and destruction of this universe. The universe arises in you, exists in you, disappears back into you. Like the clay pot arises in the clay. It's a strange way of talking about the clay pot, Swami. You make the clay into a clay pot. No, really, the clay pot takes shape in the clay. The clay is still clay. And then when it's destroyed, what remains? Clay. Yeah. Though it's not really back to clay. Once you have fired, you have, what do you call it? Burnt the clay. It remains. You can smash it, but it will remain as clay, but pottery. It will not go back to just plain old clay. It's still clay, but it will remain as parts of a pot. If you dig up a really, really ancient civilization, what do you find? Everything is gone. The pot is still there. And that's what you take and put carefully in a museum. Yeah, Dagdha Pata. The Dagdha Ghata. Pata means cloth. Pot in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, Pata means cloth. In English, pot is, in Sanskrit, Ghata. Dagdha Pata is the burnt cloth. That's different. And then this Vishwa Srishti Avavighata Karanam, the basis, the cause of the creation of the universe, existence of the universe. Ava means protection or existence. We chant Sahana Avavatu. Avatu means to protect. So protection of the universe and Vighata, destruction of the universe. Somebody was working in sustainability management. I said that is the work of God, God's work. Why? Because one of the works of God, Vishnu, is the protector, is the sustainer. So if you work for sustainability, you are doing the work of God. Vishwa Srishti Ava Vighata Karanam. Because of the projection of the universe, the sustenance of the universe, the destruction of the universe. In what sense? In what sense is Brahman? Just like clay. Clay is the basis of the projection of the universe. When you projection of the pot, when you give a shape to clay and you call it a pot. So what's the basis? What's the material of the pot? Clay. And what sustains the pot? What gives it existence? The clay. And very interestingly, but what do you mean by destruction of the pot? When the pot loses its pot form, pot function, and therefore the pot name, what remains? Clay. So clay is the basis of the Srishti, Sthiti and Laya, the projection, sustenance and dissolution of the pot. Similarly, Brahman, and it's easily understandable. What is Brahman? Existence itself. You give it a name and form, that is the universe. How is the universe sustained? Why is it like this? Because of existence. It sounds like a truism or triviality, but Vedanta does not consider existence to be an attribute. Table is brown, table is existing. The two sentences sound similar, but they are not similar. When you say table is brown, you mean the table has an attribute, a quality, it is brown in color. When you say table is existing, it does not mean that the table has a property called existence. No, existence is not a property. Existence is the reality. Vedanta says existence is the reality. In the 20th century, in Western philosophy, Bertrand Russell, he got this insight. His existence is not a predicate. Why not? He developed this, what is called theory of descriptions. So when you say the table is brown, what it means, according to Bertrand Russell, is that there is an X such that X is a table and X is brown. So there exists X such that X is a table and X is brown. Whatever you can say about it, he will say X is such and such and such. There exists X, which is a table and it is brown. So if you say the table is existing, then what will be the description? It will become very peculiar. It will be there exists X such that X is a table and it exists. But you've already said it. X exists. And it becomes even more strange if you say the table does not exist. The brown table does not exist. Suppose you say that. Then how will you put it in Bertrand Russell's logical language? There exists X such that X is a table and it does not exist. So existence is not a property. Existence is not a property. It cannot be predicated of something, it cannot be denied of something. First and foremost existence, then you predicate something. So Vedanta says you are absolutely right. Existence is not a property. Existence is the reality. It's common sense. It's straightforward. What do you mean by real? Something that exists. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. Real means exists. Even Harry Potter exists in some fictional world. So whatever exists, in whatever sense, it exists. A dream, in some sense it exists. An error, snake in the rope, in some sense it exists. So existence is primary. And then you give it a name and form, that's what's called creation. And then the creation is sustained by existence. And when the creation is gone, that thing is destroyed. What does it mean? It goes back into existence. The name and form dissolves. Existence alone remains. So this is the way Vedanta looks at it. Where is this existence? Look around you. It's all around you. And then next, such an existence you are.
Maharaj, lately you've been spending a good deal of time with the likes of Juliet Rennie and Christoph Koch and David Chalmers and so on, right? At least these three, they admit consciousness as a fundamental, but they are also realists from what I can tell about their work. What, just if you don't mind, if you treat that as a Purva Paksha sort of an approach, right? And I'm assuming you've shared Advaita Vedanta with them. What would their point of view be relative to Advaita Vedanta? Would you kindly share that with us?
Two views I can say. One, when I spoke about Advaita Vedanta, Christoph Koch, who is a leading neuroscientist in the world today, he was very fascinated. He asked me, can you recommend a book? I recommended Ashtavakra Gita to him. And very serious. He wrote back to me afterwards saying that I finished reading it. It's on my bedside. I read a little bit of it every night when I want explanations of these things. He also told me that until recently I was a committed materialist as regards consciousness. It's a product of the brain, but no longer. Not that he's accepting the Advaita Vedanta perspective, but he's open to other interpretation, that consciousness need not be reduced to the brain. That's his. So that's the big step forward. Another person who, there are a number of people, they are open to it. Not that they accept it immediately. One of the most fascinating insights comes from someone I have not met, Sir Roger Penrose. So someone who met Roger Penrose, he told me this. He's the head of Google's quantum computing division, a gentleman called Helmut. You can see on TED Talks, he has a talk on quantum computing. He said, I asked Sir Roger, that, Sir Roger, ultimately everything has to be grounded in matter, right? Even it has to be written down in matter, whatever you do in quantum computing. And I'm quoting Helmut here. Sir Roger, the smarty pants that he is, he said, but you see, I don't know what matter is. He says, I am uncomfortable being called a materialist. Who's saying this? Sir Roger Penrose. I'm uncomfortable being called a materialist because I do not understand matter. Now, what is his insight? He says these are two greatest mysteries in science today. One is in the realm of physics, another is in the realm of neuroscience. One is that I think they cannot, this is an area which I don't understand, it's not my specialty. They cannot reconcile quantum theory and general relativity, I think. The physics of the very large and the physics of the very small. It's like they are two different universes. You can't, and yet it's one universe. How can it be that the physics that works at the tiniest level is different, is incompatible with the physics that works at the cosmic level? They can't find it, that's the problem. So that's the issue in physics. Then the issue in neuroscience is they can't explain consciousness with the brain. And the insight that Sir Roger Penrose is giving is that maybe the two mysteries are linked. Quantum theory and consciousness are somehow linked, he says. That's his point. To me, what does it sound like? Quantum theory, general relativity is about what? This, the universe. Consciousness is about what? This, yourself. And if you're seeing the two are linked, what are you saying? Tattvamasi, Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. That is the insight, that somehow the cosmic and the micro and the macro are linked. Vedanta makes an equation, an identity. In really, the micro and the macro are identical. Astabhedam anapasta lakshanam nistaranga jalarashi nischalam nityamuktam abhibhakta murti yad brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Astabheda. This is verse number 259. Astabheda means where all differences are quenched, submerged. There is no difference at all. What do you mean by difference? There are three kinds of difference. Bheda. Three different kinds of difference. As ancient philosophers were having a blast. Do you know there are four kinds of nothing. Praga bhava, dhamsa bhava, anyonya bhava, atyanta bhava. Prior nothing, posterior nothing, mutual nothing, and just nothing. Four kinds of nothing. The three kinds of difference. What are the three kinds of difference? Sajatiya bheda, vijatiya bheda, swagata bheda. Bheda means difference. Vijatiya bheda, difference of kind. So table and a chair. The table is one kind of thing, a chair is another kind of thing. Of course, you can say they're all furniture. So the furniture and the carpet, they're two different kinds of things. A cat and a dog, two different kinds of things, two different species, depending on how you categorize it. So two different kinds of things, a difference in kind. Or a difference within the same kind. So two trees. But they are two, they're different. This is one tree and two dogs. Both are of the same kind, but they are different because they are two instances of the same kind. So in philosophy, this is called type token difference. Difference in type. Cat and a dog are different in type. Token means there are two tokens of the same type. Two dogs, the same type, but they're two different. There are two different instances. So we have books and the same book, but these books are different. Each of you they're countably different. You can count these books 1, 2, 3, 4. So difference of kind is called vijatiya bheda, difference of species. Difference within the same kind is called sajatiya bheda. And difference within itself, a tree. Within itself there's a difference of a root and a branch and leaves and a fruit and a flower and the stem. So the tree has different parts. That is called swagata bheda, internal difference. Brahman is devoid of all three kinds of difference. Vijatiya bheda rahita, which means there is nothing other than Brahman. There is no other kind of thing. Why? What is Brahman? Existence. So whatever exists must exist. It must be Brahman. If something is different in kind, what will happen to it? It will not exist. It has to be other than existence. It won't exist. In logic, you can't have a difference in existence. Something different from existence. Something different from existence will become non-existent. Therefore, there is no difference in kind. Brahman is the only thing that exists. But then, can there be more than one Brahman? And the answer is no. This is the logical reason behind monotheism. Why God is only one. No, there cannot be more than one Brahman. Why not? Why not? It's like saying, the sky. Here is a sky in this space, in this room. This is the meditation space. That's the dining space. Well, they're apparently different. But space cannot be divided. It's actually one undivided space. Actually, what's happening here? We have put up all these walls, but you know the earth is rotating and the earth is hurling through space, revolving around the sun, and the whole solar system is moving through the galaxy. The whole galaxy is also moving through space. Actually, moment to moment, this space is not constant. We're traveling at an immense speed through space. Space cannot be divided. When the earth is rotating or moving through space, do you think we are carrying this space along with us? Not at all. We are moving through space. Space is indivisible. Similarly, Brahman, existence is indivisible. You can't say there are many existences. I have one existence, you have another existence. No. The bodies are different, but the existence is one unbroken existence. So there are no different existences. There is only one unbroken existence. So no sajatiya bheda, no difference in kind. And then no swagata bheda, there is no parts of existence. Existence is unbroken, indivisible. So, asta bheda, all three kinds of difference are denied, negated. Existence has no internal difference, existence has no other kind of existence, there are no kinds of existence. And there's nothing other than existence, for obvious reasons. Something other than existence would become non-existent. And anapasta lakshanam, although the differences are negated, its nature is unnegatable. What is the nature of Brahman? Satchit Ananda. It is existence, now and forever. It is consciousness, now and forever. It is Ananda, limitless, now and forever. Anapasta lakshanam. Its nature cannot be negated. What's it like? A beautiful example is given. Nistaranga jalarashi nishchalam. A vast ocean of water. Imagine a limitless ocean of water. Limitless ocean. Without a wave and utterly still. That is the nature of Brahman. Well, good for Brahman. What about me? Brahma tattvamasi bhavaya atmani. You are that Brahman, that vast ocean. But you're not made of water. You are made of consciousness. You're made of existence. You're made of bliss. And it's vast and waveless. Ashtavakra sings the ocean metaphor in 3 levels. See how beautiful it is. Mai ananta mahambodau vishwapota itastata Brahmati swanta vatena namamastya sahishnuta. In me, the infinite ocean of consciousness, the boat of this universe, it moves around here and there. Sometimes rises, sometimes sinks. It moves by an internal wind. What's the internal wind? The wind of causality, which is internal to the boat. It has nothing to do with me, the ocean of consciousness. Then what is my attitude to the world? Namamastya sahishnuta. I am not impatient. The ocean is not impatient with the little boat. What is the ocean? Brahman. What's the little boat? The world, the universe. We think of ourselves as a little bit of, I'm consciousness, but I'm a tiny spark of consciousness. Here is a vast and uncaring world. No. You are an ocean of consciousness. And this vast and so-called uncaring world is a little boat floating in you. And it moves. Moves means the things which are happening in life. How are they happening? By an internal wind. There is a logic to it, a method to the madness. What is that? The wind of causality, cause and effect, karma. Karma is floating it this way and that way. Because of past karma, the boat is going this way and that way, rising and sinking. What's your attitude to this boat of life? This boat of this world, the boat of your own life. What's your attitude? Na mamastya sahishnutha. I am not impatient. I don't get irritated, I don't get upset. I am this serene ocean of consciousness. Vivekananda says, let nothing disturb the serenity of your mind. It's a good practice. You want one practice, try it, you will find it very difficult. The world is continuously trying to push you to disturb moment to moment. Try not to disturb the serenity of your mind. It's a great spiritual practice. You will find you're practicing from morning till night. Moment to moment.
I had a quick question
Well, let me
on parts.
Yeah, just hold on. On parts, yes.
On the parts bit, because
Yeah.
so I agree that it's...
Just hold on with your question. Let me finish this metaphor. Then Ashtavakra goes on. Second stage. This is the first stage. What are you? Ocean of consciousness. What's the world? What's the body? What's the life? A boat. The next. Mai ananta mahambodau vishwa vichi swabhavata udetu vastamayatu name vriddhi navakshati. In me, the infinite ocean of consciousness, the world is a wave. Let it arise, let it subside. I neither gain nor do I lose anything by it. Now remember, a boat is something distinct from the ocean. But the wave is nothing distinct from the ocean. The wave is the ocean. So the world is a wave, life is a wave, your body is a wave which arises in you, the ocean of consciousness. And it plays around. Then what happens? It dies. Let the wave arise, let it subside. The ocean is not increased by the rising of the wave. Even if it's a tsunami wave, the ocean is actually not increased by it. It's the ocean only. Let it subside. The ocean is not decreased by it. So let birth come, you do not gain by it. Let death come, you do not lose anything by it. Let success come or failure come, you neither gain nor lose anything by it. You are the same ocean of consciousness. This is the second stage in the ocean metaphor. The final stage is what Sankaracarya is referring to. Mayananta mahambodau vishwam nama vikalpana atishanto nirakara etadevahamasthita. In me, the infinite ocean of consciousness, the world is an imagination. Not even a boat, not even a wave. There is no such thing. Then how are you? I am a waveless ocean. Atishanta, forever calm. And thus I exist from eternity to eternity. When? Right now. That's what you are. That's what we all are. And this world which appears, all this tremendous tumult, it says vikalpana, it's an imagination. It's virtual. It's a projection. It's a dream. You are the waveless ocean of consciousness. Yes.
Yeah, it's probably a clarification more than a question. So you mentioned consciousness being there are no parts. It's just one. But don't we talk about Chit, Sat, Anand, that's three different things?
So they are not three different things.
Well, no, I mean, the way it's said, it sounds like...
It sounds different,
so
yeah.
Could you just explain that it's not three different things?
Yes. So when you say existence, consciousness, bliss, they sound like three different things.
Yes.
Or they sound like three different aspects. You might say that, okay, Brahman is existence, consciousness, bliss, but there are three different aspects of Brahman, right? There is existence, and there is consciousness, and there is bliss. No. Notice, consciousness is existence, existence is consciousness. That does not sound right to us in this waking state. In this waking state, you feel, okay, I exist and I'm conscious, but this book or this table, it just sort of exists. It's not conscious. So you can have existence without consciousness. Right? Let alone Ananda. We can set it aside. It's a whole different problem altogether. So, is existence and consciousness, are they both the same? Yes. How are you going to understand this? Take the dream example. In the dream example, the existence of everything is also the consciousness, in that case, the mind of the dreamer. Everything in the dream, every entity, every object, every person is nothing but the dreamer's mind. So the existence and the mind in the dream are the one and the same. Do we understand this? A thing does not exist by itself without being dreamt. The moment you wake up, everything that you dreamt about disappears immediately. Why? Because you have pulled your mind out of it. So, in the same way, Vedanta is proposing, here in the waking state also, every existence is actually nothing other than consciousness. It does not exist apart from consciousness. We think the world out there exists apart from consciousness. Vedanta says no. Can you prove it? I remember our senior most member, Bill Conrad, who's 102 this year. So he said to me once, "No, Swami, that's not right. The room exists regardless of whether we are here or not. It does not depend on our consciousness. And I can prove it to you. We'll set up a camera here, we'll leave the room, walk out of the room, and we'll come back into the room and I'll show you the pictures in the camera. It'll show an empty room without any conscious being." Right? That's our idea of the world. That's the common sense idea of the world. That's the materialistic idea of the world. World is actually a material reality. In that, yeah, there's consciousness, but that comes much later. And that is also a product of our material brains. Consciousness is a product of matter. So consciousness comes much later. Material existence is prior to consciousness. So existence can be there without consciousness. That's the whole point. I said to him, "Bill, in your consciousness you proposed this experiment. In your consciousness you set up the camera. In your consciousness we walked out of the room. In your consciousness we came back into the room. In your consciousness you showed me an empty room without any conscious beings. When did you step outside your consciousness? Can you even step outside your consciousness? You cannot." The idea that there were millions of years of the universe without any consciousness at all, and then the first living beings came, and then they somehow evolved higher brains, and then consciousness emerged, that presumes two things. One is matter can exist without consciousness. Second, consciousness can be produced by matter. Consciousness can be produced by matter. That's the whole, what is called the hard problem of consciousness. Nobody is able to prove that yet. Second, matter can exist without consciousness. Show me. But to show me, you need consciousness. What I mean by that is, it's a very simple fact, but it took me a long time to understand. Don't confuse consciousness with knowledge. A thing can be unknown and yet be within consciousness. We have this room in which we have knowledge, we see some things, we hear some things. There's a lot in this room which is also unknown to us at the microscopic level, at the atomic level. We don't see anything here. We only see things at our own scale. With our five senses we have some knowledge. With our intellect we have some understanding of this room. That's it. And what to speak of the vast unknown beyond this room? Out there stretches the desert of Arizona, and beyond that, lands and oceans. Above us, the heavens and stars and planets. Almost all of it utterly unknown to us, in the sense that we don't know anything directly right now. Yet all of this is presented to us in consciousness. I cannot hammer home this point again and again. We don't think in this way at all. The whole universe is experienced in consciousness, as the known and the unknown, as the 1% known, as the 99% unknown. Just for something to be in consciousness does not mean it has to be known. What is knowledge? It is consciousness operating through a mind and sense organs and instruments of knowledge. Then you get knowledge. If you don't operate through instruments of knowledge, you will get the unknown. But both known and unknown are appearing in consciousness. It could very well be, and that's what Vedanta claims, that yes, there was a universe where there was no life, no manifested consciousness, and yet consciousness was there implicit. Existence was manifested as the existing universe. And when life became available, brains and nervous systems, consciousness became manifest as conscious beings. But existence consciousness existed prior to the manifestation of the universe. You can visualize, you can dream of a world where there are no living beings. So you would not have a mind in that world. You would just have a world without rocks and planets and stars, no living beings. You're dreaming of it. But the whole dream of that world without any mind is taking place in a mind. Anyway, just think about this. There are these two problems. Think of material existence without consciousness, you run up into the problem of what is called idealism, which Kant called the standing scandal of philosophy, that you cannot prove the existence of a world without consciousness. You cannot. Proof of existence depends on consciousness. And the other way around, consciousness from matter, you run up against the other problem, hard problem of consciousness. Alright, let me put it this way. Forget consciousness, Atman, Brahman, esoteric stuff. Take something simple which nobody can deny. A thought. We all have thoughts. We are all, unless you are a zombie, we all have thoughts, memories, perceptions. This thought, which we have right now, science has no place for it. I'm throwing out a bold challenge. Many of you are professionals, you have science degrees. Physics has no place for a thought. Where is a thought? If you ask a simple question, where? You say a brain? No, in the brain you will find the brain. You will find neurons. You will find electrical activity. Where will you find a thought? You will never find it. It's very inconvenient things, thoughts. A physicist would be very happy if there were no thoughts. You can have a brain but be mindless, and then you're fine. Physics will be fine with you. A mind is an inconvenient thing. Where will you put a mind? Unless you somehow reduce the mind to matter, physics has no way of dealing with it. And yet, that's the whole problem, the hard problem of consciousness. We are unable to reduce the mind to matter. Yes.
Swamiji, in your lecture on the Sankaracarya, you said that existence depends on knowability. Right? So the two have to go together.
Yes.
Because without it being knowable, it can't exist.
Yeah, that's a Vedantic perspective, but that is not a common sense perspective.
So that is the explanation you gave.
So the transition to that is what I'm arguing for. The common sense perspective is things can exist without being known. What I'm saying is step towards that, things cannot exist without being in consciousness. For all that we know, suppose you say material universe exists outside consciousness, which is what materialism says. It's common sense materialism. The world exists regardless of your consciousness, outside consciousness. Bernardo Kastrup, I'm borrowing an argument from his book Analytic Idealism. He says, look at the atrocious nature of this argument. Put it this way. He says 4 steps which will prove to you the sheer, the atrocious nature of the materialist argument. 4 steps. Listen to the 4 steps. Step 1, which nobody will doubt. I am conscious. Who doubts this? Nobody. If you doubt it, you prove that you are conscious. So I am conscious, nobody doubts. Materialist does not doubt it. They will give a different explanation. Materialist does not doubt it. Idealist doesn't doubt it. Nobody. Vedantist doesn't doubt it. Buddhist doesn't doubt it. Nobody doubts that I am conscious. We all, because we experience it directly. Step 2. Others are also conscious. Now here you are relaxing the argument a little bit, relaxing your logical rigor a little bit, because you don't have direct access to others' consciousness. The way we feel, are you following the argument? The way we feel our own consciousness, I don't feel your consciousness that way. I am inferring you are conscious. On what basis? From my own inner experience and by looking at you, what is going on here, I guess something like that is going on within you. So I am assuming you are conscious. That's step 2. How will you allow that step? Even if you don't have direct experience of consciousness of others? In philosophy, there is a similar problem. It's called the problem of other minds. How do you know others have minds? One basis is this. If it has happened once, it's possible it can happen again. So consciousness has happened once. We are all sure. Where? In our own case. We are totally sure of it. Then it can happen in similar cases. They look like me, they behave like me, they talk like me, so probably they are conscious like me. Step 2, we will allow it. Others are also conscious. Step 3, there is something called matter which exists independent of consciousness. No evidence for it. Because all evidence depends upon consciousness. But suppose you allow it. Then step 4. This so-called matter is actually what is producing consciousness and all our conscious experiences. This is too much. Go through the 4 steps one by one. I am conscious. Fine. Nobody disagrees. Others are also conscious. Well, okay. Number 3. Matter exists separately, independently, apart from consciousness. There's really no logical justification. Psychologically, yes, but logical justification is not there. And the last one is too much. This so-called matter, which exists outside the absolutely obvious consciousness, is actually producing this highly doubtful matter is producing the indubitable consciousness and all our conscious experiences. This is too much. This is Bernardo Kastrup says this. Another argument he gives, very nice. Suppose you are traveling, you are an ancient traveler, and all along when you travel, all you see is land, 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 ocean, 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 again land, land, land. And you are told, just over the horizon is something quite different from ocean or land. But as you keep on going, you find only land or ocean. What will you say then? You will say, that is not true then. All we will ever find is land or ocean. Similarly, what is within our experience? Conscious experience. Everything that we have in life is conscious experience. But we are being told just over the horizon of conscious experience, there is something called matter, outside conscious experience, which you will never come across. All you will have is conscious experience. Then we have to force to say, there is no such thing. Matter may be a facet of our conscious experience. That's Bernardo Kastrup. Then let me go forward. Nitya Mukta Avibhakta Murti Yad. Avibhakta, indivisible. So without difference. So already you have said Astabheda, without negating all differences. 3 kinds of difference are negated. Once again you are saying no difference. So we can say the first negation of difference talks about the difference of same kind and difference of different kinds. Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Bheda are not there in Brahman. And the second mention of Avibhakta, indivisible, means internal difference is negated. So the 3 kinds of difference. The 3 kinds of difference are negated. Nitya Mukta, ever free. Brahman is ever free. You are ever free. Then what are we doing? Why are we here? If I am already free, why am I here? To remove the error that you are not free. That sounds kind of academic. Can I do without that project? No, it has huge consequences. The consequence is freedom from suffering and attainment of deep, lasting fulfillment. As long as that error is there, you will be deprived of the benefits of freedom. You are free, but you think you are not free. And therefore you don't get the benefits of freedom. Just an error can prevent me from enjoying the benefit of my real nature, freedom. Yes, imagine the condition of a schizophrenic person. There is no problem at all. But the person is suffering terribly. Out of what? Imagined problems, projected problems. That has to be cured to get peace. Our condition is like the schizophrenic. We are battling against ghosts. You are Brahman itself. Every ghost that you are battling against is your creation. Everything you are struggling against is your bondage. Vivekananda says, ours is thine only is the hand that holds the rope that drags thee on. Then what's the solution? Let go thy hold, sannyasi bold. That's the meaning of sannyasa, to let go thy hold. Not easy at all. They're clutching onto it for dear life. And being dragged along and being battered in this journey of life. Let go thy hold, sannyasi bold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Yes.
Swamiji, Nitya Mukta, it says here, is it a type or like compared to Krama Mukti or Jivan Mukti or something?
No, not Nitya. Here Nitya Mukta is the very nature of Brahman. Satchidananda is ever free. The one way Brahman is described is Nitya Mukta Buddha Swarupa. So it is ever free by its very nature. The freedom that we attain through spiritual practice can be shown as three kinds of freedom. One is called Krama Mukti, another one is called Sadhya Mukti, which is again divided into two parts, which is Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. What is Krama Mukti? Even if we don't attain to freedom in this life, because we have dedicated a life to spiritual practice, we will go to higher worlds after death and live there for a long time and maybe attain freedom from there, or come back into this world as very advanced spiritual practitioners and attain freedom in that life. This is sequential liberation. Krama, sequence. Sequential liberation. You will not be free right now, but in time. But it's guaranteed, you will be free. The second one is Sadhya Mukti. Sadhya means immediate. You are liberated here and now. It will result in two kinds of liberation. One is liberation while living here, which is called Jivan Mukti. The second one is called Videha Mukti. After the death of this body, you will attain to bodiless liberation. From your perspective, you are Brahman. The moment you attain liberation, you know you are Brahman. You will not only know you are Brahman, you will know that you always were liberated. So this whole project is a project within Maya. We are born in bondage, we need liberation. It's a project within Maya. So then it does not sound very serious. If you are already liberated, yes, in one sense. In another sense, it's deadly serious, because you will not get the benefits until you attain to that liberation.
So the Avatara Purushas,
yes.
Does that belong to any of these?
No.
Or they are beyond?
They are the Avatara Purushas. Avatars are nothing other than God, incarnation of God. So God is ever liberated. God is fully liberated. So when the avatar comes, avatars are also liberated. They may do a charade or a play of spiritual practice, then getting enlightenment and getting liberation as a demonstration for us. But they are ever liberated. Because they come with a mission. They come for our benefit. They don't need to come. We are not avatars. We are sentient beings. We come because we are forced by our karma. We are helpless that way. They are not helpless at all. The avatar is the Lord of Maya. We are under the domain of Maya. The difference between Mayadhisha and Mayadhina. Mayadhisha, Lord of Maya. Mayadhina, under the spell of Maya. We are under the spell of Maya. We need help for freedom.
So when Vishnu says, Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami devi, so he chooses when to come.
Yes. The Lord comes for the welfare of all beings. How? How does he ensure the welfare of all beings? By establishing spirituality. What do you mean establishing spirituality? By first of all demonstrating the truth of spirituality. It has fallen into old age and disrepair. People have made it mechanical. People have reduced it to fanaticism, ritual, doctrine, dogma, organization. That there is some genuine life-giving spirituality, Avatar demonstrates. Second, Avatar sets out newer and newer paths. New form, new mantras, new practices. Again, new paths of spirituality. That's how new religions come into being. Again, this will deteriorate over time. Again, the avatar will come. That's the avatar's job. Job description. So what does the avatar do? Establish religion, overcome adharma, establish dharma. Why? For the welfare. Why for the welfare? The root of all of this is love. Is the love of God for man, for the human being, for sentient, for all beings. So avatar, God comes out of love. Then, let me, go on.
I was wondering, let go thy hold, what is it at the highest levels are the most difficult and subtle things to renounce or let go of?
They say fame is the last infirmity of a noble soul. Lust, greed, anger, jealousy, these bind down ordinary people. Great people, they may have one last infirmity, might be fame. They're very, we say great people, their own greatness. But beyond that, can one be very great, truly great? From their perspective, they feel they are utterly ordinary. They have no sense of their own greatness. So, yeah, there are many such subtle bondages. For example, in the Yoga Sutras, all these spiritual powers, occult powers, the ability to read other people's minds, many occult powers are there, which are described in the Yoga Sutras. And they are regarded as terrible bondages. You cannot resist the simple temptations of this world, the gross temptations of this world. You think you're going to resist the subtle temptations of these occult powers. It's almost impossible. And yet you must not get lost in that. Otherwise, that's the end of spiritual life. Then there's another kind of temptation, that of heaven. So in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, there are concepts of multiple heavens, multiple layers of heaven. What are these heavens? They are like this world, but much better. Much better. Without the trouble. You don't get old there. What happens? You just die, suddenly. When your karma is exhausted, you get expelled from that. You get booted out of heaven. Yeah, there are descriptions of gods falling from it. Gods means small g, not God. They fall, devatas. Devatapatan. They tumble down from heaven crying, alas, alas. Because it was so great. And suddenly you lose it. It's like waking from a dream. Being kicked out of heaven. So, heaven, where things are fantastic. Whatever you want, instantly fulfilled. Amazon Prime. One day delivery. Yes. We are trying to recreate heaven here. Now, does that make you really deeply happy? We see, no, it doesn't. But it can be addictive. And those are subtle pleasures. So when you become a monk, you vow to give up the desire for this world and other worlds, including heavens. When it was being taught to us as novices, I remember 25 years ago, we nodded happily, yes, we give up heaven. The Swami was teaching us, very old, very wonderful Swami. He said, wait a minute. You say you give it up. Modern people give up the desire for heaven. Why? Because we don't believe in it. Your ancestors seriously believed in the possibility of going to heaven. That's why they were so careful about their chance of going to heaven. You guys are utter crass materialists. Heaven is not real. What is real? Only what I can see with my senses. That's real. So you don't believe in heaven. That's why you say, I give up heaven. You can't give up a cookie here. You think you're going to give up heaven? So these are the dangers, the subtle pleasures, or the subtle temptations, the higher realms of pleasure, power, and fame, which are there. So what do we have to, what is the one antidote to all of this? One antidote is called Vairagya, dispassion. These are the beginning of Vedanta. Viveka, Vairagya, the sixfold discipline, Mumukshutvam, intense desire for freedom. Vairagya stands with this affirmation, I entered through the gates of Vedanta. I do not want. Want what? Anything. Whatever this world or the other worlds can offer, I do not want. Thank you, enough is enough. I have seen through this. Now, when upon enlightenment, what does the Buddha say? That Mara or Maya, Mara he says in Buddhist language, I have seen through your house of deception. No more will you build this house of deception, these webs of fancy. You will not weave them anymore. Life after life you have entrapped me. Now I am free. That is enlightenment, freedom from this enchantment. Then next, number 260. Ekameva sad aneka karanam karanantara nirasya karanam karya karana vilakshanam swayam brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. That which, though one only, is the cause of the many, which refutes all other causes, but is itself without cause, distinct from Maya and its effect, the universe, and independent, that Brahman art thou. Meditate on this in thy mind. Here I want to bring in the pot back again. Shankaracharya in Aparoksha Anubhuti explains, What is this cause and effect? Brahman or God is always introduced as the cause of the universe. This is philosophical language. In religious language, the creator of the universe. In what sense the creator? It's the material out of which the universe is made. So what is that material? Existence itself, according to Vedanta. So Brahman is the cause of the universe. But here Shankaracharya says it's actually not even the cause of the universe. It's neither the effect nor the cause. How do we understand this? Why is Brahman the cause and how is it not the cause? How is it beyond cause and effect, beyond causality? Causality is Maya. Beyond causality is true freedom. It is the ultimate reality, Brahman, and that you are, beyond cause and effect. Remember, to go beyond, what is freedom? Freedom from what? Freedom from karma. What is karma? Causality. Vivekananda says, good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. Whosoever wears a form, wears the chain too. What's the form? This body. What's the chain? Our past karma, which has produced this body. If you have a body, you're bound. You're bound to experience a series of things which will happen to you in your life, which was generated by our own past karma. No one to blame, Swami Vivekananda says. So, but what does Vedanta say? Far beyond name and form is Atman ever free. Know thou art that. Sannyasi board, say Om Tat Sat Om. Same thing Shankaracharya says. Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavaya Atmani. Which Brahman are you? That which is beyond cause and effect. Beyond karma and its effects. How so? And the pot example from Aparoksha Anubhuti. Take a pot, Shankaracharya says. And then you are told, yes, the pot has a beginning, the pot has an end, the pot can get damaged, but there is something called clay, which is the source of the pot, which is the cause of the pot, which cannot get damaged, which cannot be destroyed, which cannot be built or destroyed. The pot is built and destroyed, produced and destroyed. We say, that's great. Where is this clay? Well, look there. It is the very substance of the pot. If you examine the pot, you will find that the top is clay, the bottom is clay, the sides are clay, inside. In fact, it's clay through and through. And when you look into it, that is clay through and through. There is no such thing, second reality called the pot apart from the clay. Since there is no second reality, no thing called the pot, the only thing is clay. Therefore, really no second reality called pot was ever produced. Clay alone existed. In that case, you cannot call clay the cause of the pot because the pot has not been produced. No effect, no cause. So the clay remains neither effect nor cause. Let me repeat that again. 4 stages. First stage, pot. Step 1. Then we are told, this pot is an effect. There is a cause. In Sanskrit, the pot is a karyam. It is a cause, a karanam. What's the cause? We are introduced to something called clay. So clay is the cause, pot is the effect. Then we look for the clay. Where do we find it? The effect, the cause is always found in the effect. The material cause is always found. The wood is found where? In the table. Gold is found where? In the golden ornament. Water in the wave. Iron in the iron implement. Similarly, Brahman where? In its effect. Where? In the world. Just like you would find clay in the pot. But then when we examine the pot, we find it is clay through and through. There is no second reality called the pot. What is the pot? It's a name. It's a form. It's a use. You put water in it or whatever in it. So it is just clay. If it is not a second reality, then we ask a question. What is it that was produced? What was created? What is the thing, the reality called the pot? There is nothing corresponding. No second reality. So no, there is a pot. Well, I'll take the clay away. Show me the pot. You cannot. If I take the wood away, show me the table. You cannot. So, there is no effect called pot. If there is no effect called pot, the question arises, why are you calling clay the cause? What is it a cause of? So the clay is not a cause. The causality of the clay is lost. What remains? The clay is not lost. The causality of the clay is lost. What remains? The clay itself, which is neither cause nor effect. Similarly, Brahman is karya karana vilakshanam swayam. First it says Brahman is the cause. Ekameva, there is only one cause. Sad aneka karanam. It is the cause. Being one, what is one? Existence. Existence is one, but it is the cause of many. Many means the entire universe with billions of entities is the effect. What is this universe? It is that same existence with names and forms. But when you examine all these entities, what will you find? Existence, existence, existence. There is no product called the universe. Existence alone exists. But the universe appears, just like the pot appears. Name, form and activity goes on. But it is clay and clay throughout in the pot. It is existence and existence throughout in the universe. Therefore, this Brahman, this existence, is neither cause nor effect. He says, Karya Karana Vilakshanam Swayam. What a beautiful point. And because it is free of cause and effect, it is free. It is free of karma. It is transcendent. It's not part of this universe. Cause and effect, Maya. Beyond cause and effect, Brahman. So this is what is said. Such a Brahman you are. And Shankaracharya says very beautifully, after all this analysis, he says, what's left over after this analysis? You might say the clay is left over. He says, no. Avashishtam bhavet munihi. It is the sage who is left over. You are left over. As pure being or pure consciousness. Alright, we'll stop here. Time for dinner soon. We want to take